pot or a teacup that has been dropped onto the floor. What would you do with it? Most of you here would throw it away saying that it's of no use anymore. But not with Kensuke. Here you will bring the broken pieces of the pottery back together and join it with some liquid gold. Wouldn't that make it imperfect? But imperfect, permanently and inevitably flawed, but somewhat more beautiful? Today, I invite you all to take a closer look at your scars, not as flaws to be hidden, but as symbols of courage, wisdom, and resilience. Wabi Sabi, for me, has no definite definition. It is rather an intuitive concept. Beth Kempton, in her book Wabi Sabi, The Japanese Wisdom for a Perfectly Imperfect Life, dwells onto the elegance of this philosophy and describes it as the beauty of Wabi Sabi lies not in the things, but in life itself. It is the art of slow, steady, simple, and natural living. It is a state of heart. It is deep in breath and slow in exhale. It is felt in the moment of real appreciation, a perfect moment in an imperfect world. The term Wabi Sabi in the Japanese dictionary available today finds no mention, although there are long entries for the individual words Wabi and Sabi. The term does not find any mention in the spoken language or into the literature of Japan, but it lives on in the hearts of people and the way they live their lives. The term Wabi is associated with poverty, insufficiency, despair. As an aesthetic term, it means the underlying tone of darkness. It is simplicity with stillness. Sabi translates to tranquility. From the adjective shabishi, it means lonely, lonesome, or solitary. Taking these both words together, they reflect a way of life and the essence of thinking that suggests how imperfect things are just perfectly fine. The term finds one of its memorable mentions in the story originated from the 16th century featuring the most famous tea master, Senno Rikyu. Rikyu was an apprentice learning the art of tea under his master, Takino Ju. Ju once asked him to prepare the garden for the upcoming tea ceremony. Rikyu tended every detail, working, raking, arranging the plants to perfection, not leaving even a stray of leaf inside. But as he finished, he took a step back and seemed somewhat dissatisfied with the scene. And then, as a surprising final gesture, he shook the cherry tree and let the soft petals fall delicately onto the ground, breaking the garden's perfection. At that moment, Joe realized that the beauty of the garden wasn't in the rigidity that he was seeking, rather in the imperfect and the transient things around us. It transformed a merely tidy garden into a profoundly beautiful one. All these stories are now part of Japanese folklore and find a good place in Japan's history. In the Gen Z language, we can say Wabi Sabi is accepting that you did not get the tickets to your favorite artist's concert and staying at home doing your homework. Today, we all are so caught up in the labyrinth of social media and trapped in the cage of algorithms, all the unmet deadlines, the stress of future, the unanswered emails haunt us at night. But let me take you all back to our childhood, where everything was just simply flawed and simplicity spoke volumes. Do you all remember a 5-year-old boy that hated eating capsicum and found sheer joy in small things like eating his favorite choco chips or watching action come in? A boy that used to say, "Abbe, itna bhi kuch khas nahi ho." Very often, obviously, it's Shinchan. Now you all here might think I'm crazily obsessed with this cartoon. I accept that, but I have a reason to put him here. A 5-year-old boy with no fancy clothes, means, or toys could make us laugh at his jokes. A boy that used to wear same set of clothes every single day managed to make us laugh. Isn't it great? He reflected the mentality of Wabi Sabi most aptly because he taught us that simplicity does not necessarily mean being sad. It means accepting what you have with a huge smile on your face. In my opinion, Shinchan was living the Wabi Sabi way of life. You all might wonder why. Because he lived in the present. He just enjoyed the present moment to the fullest and represented the mentality of be here now. Also, another thing about this notorious character is that he just simply did not care what others thought of him. He spoke what he had in his mind, and that's it. The word judgment wasn't really in his dictionary. And also, every sad moment in the cartoon was filled with his iconic Buri Buri dance and unmatched humor. He never was and never tried to be the perfect inspirational characters of a childhood that did his homework on time or did not cause any trouble. On the contrary, the cartoon was so relatable because of its messy yet funny family dynamics. Wabi Sabi, as a concept, places major emphasis on authenticity and imperfections of life. It embraces the hardships of life as its beauty. Do you all remember the episode where Shinchan was leaving for Mexico? Literally everybody cried while watching it. This episode represented another another principle of this philosophy, that is the changing or the transient nature of the relationships and the environment around us. Nothing is permanent in this world. If you love the blossoms, you need to embrace the dead petals too. Even the shiniest metals rust with time. This is how things are. Worrying about the future would not get you anywhere, but acting upon it would. And you can only act upon it when you embrace the reality with open arms. Thank you.